Okay, so this is part 3 of Let It Be, where we'll go into the nice little keyboard part at the beginning, or at least something that you can play over the top, and George Harrison's amazing major pentatonic solo. This is taken from the album version of Let It Be. The single version has a slightly different guitar solo in it, but I much prefer the album version. So that's the one we're going to do today. By all means, get in touch if you want the other version, and I'll try and sort out a video for that one as well. Anyway, onto this little keyboard line. So the part in question is the bit that goes just prior, or it leads into the solo, which is this keyboard part here. That part, it leads into the solo. So what I did say in part 2 was to play the chords of F, or F major 7, C, and then G, F, C, and we do that twice. F to C, and then G, F, C. But we can include some of those lines in our playing. If we were to take our chord of F major 7, and just to play it from string 4 just downwards, and then to play single notes on string 4, which will be a fret 2 and then an open a 4th string. So we have, we'll then go to the chord of C, and then we need to break up the chord straight away to include a fret 1 on the 5th string and then an open 5th string. So all of that together would be, and then we can play our chords like we did last time, the G to F major 7 to C. And then it happens a second time, so F major 7, and then with our little rundown on the 4th string to C, and then a fret 1 on the 5th string, open 5th string, G, F, C. So that gets played through twice, that leads into the solo. And then there's a lovely little lead-in that George Harrison plays, which is just before the solo starts, which is this lovely little part here. So what he's doing is he's holding down fret 5 on both the 4th and the 3rd strings, and he's playing them both together. We refer to that as a double stop in the world of stringed musical instruments, so the guitar being one of them. Here's a double stop, fret 5 on the 2 middle strings. Now, whilst they're both ringing out, we're going to do a hammer-on with our 3rd finger that hopefully only changes the 4th string. We still want to hear that 3rd string ringing out underneath. So hopefully you can hear that only one of those notes, the 4th string, is the one that changes. Okay? So I'm just firing that finger on. It's called a hammer-on, but I'll perhaps make a video about hammer-ons in a bit more detail at a later date. So that's what we do. We start off with just the fret 5s. We play them together, throw on our little hammer-on. We then play the fret 5s again. We then do a fret 7 with our 3rd finger on the 5th string. And we slide down to a fret 5 before playing the fret 3. Now, when we play that fret 3 on the 5th string, that's technically the start of the solo, or at least where the bar starts. So that little lead in is that. Okay, so we land on this fret 3. This is now what I would consider the start of the solo. We then slide from 5 to 7 on the 5th string. We're then going to play the fret 5 on the 4th string twice, back to the fret 7 on the 5th string, and then back to the fret 5 on the 4th string. So we have that. Okay, so that with that little intro part. Okay, we then are going to do a little hammer-on from 5 to 7 on the 4th string, and then a fret 5 on the next string. Now, this next part, the bit that we've just got to, he does a string bend. So he's going to take this fret 7, he's going to bend it up, so it sounds, so we're stretching the string, it's going to sound as if it's a fret 9. Now, if you don't like doing string bends, then by all means, just slides to the fret 9. So he plays, and we hear the sound of the fret 9, but we do it by stretching from fret 7. But of course, if you wanted to, you can do that. If you're going to go with that, you then have to slide it back and hopefully do a better job than I just did. Back down from the 9 to the 7, and then we re-pick the fret 5. That's on the 3rd string. However, if you are doing the string bend, you then need to re-pick it, release it, and then play the fret 5. We'll then do a sort of lovely little country guitar lick. So again, if you're going to do a string bend, or in actual fact, no, I don't think there is a string bend at this point. I think he slides up from 7 to 9 on the 3rd string. We then play a fret 8 on the 1st string. So a bit of a string jump there. We're going to jump over that 2nd string. So we're then going to slide back down from the 9 to the 7, and then we're going to play the fret 5 before doing a little hammer-on back onto the 7 on the 3rd string. So that part there. Now at that point, we're going to do a string bend from the 7, so it sounds like a fret 9 again. But slightly tricky now, because we then, whilst it's ringing out, need to play the fret 5 on the 1st string before releasing our string bend. So we have this now, if you don't want to do the string bend, by all means do it with slides instead. So that would be like this. So here we'd slide up 2 frets like before. We'd have to get our little finger to play the fret 10 on the 2nd string before sliding back down to the fret 5. We then finish with a lick that's not too dissimilar to how we started the whole thing, which is in actual fact, it's not double stops, apologies. So we're just going to play 7, 5, 7, 5 on the 4th string, 7 sliding to the 5 on the 5th string, and then 3, 5, 3. Okay? So all of that is okay, I'm going to do the string bends here. But of course, if you wanted to, you could just do the slides. This one is a slide. That one you could do as a slide. Okay, so we're about halfway through. We're then going to go to the 4th string and do a little 5 hammer to 7 and then a 5 on the 3rd string. Okay, we then have a 7 on the 4th string, back to the 5 on the 3rd string. We're going to slide up to the 9, and then if we're doing that with our 3rd finger, our 2nd finger can get the fret 8 on that 2nd string. So that little part there. We'll then repeat what we've just done. So another slide from 7 to 9, and then followed by our fret 8, and then one more before we go to a fret 10 on the 2nd string. So that, all of that part. Okay, we then have an 8 hammer to 10 on the 2nd string, a fret 8 on the 1st string, and it's another string bend. We're going to bend a fret 10, so it sounds like a fret 12, re-pick it, allow it to come back down, and have 8, 10, 8 at the end. So that should sound like. Now, of course, if you want to do that with a slide, it's going to be all the way up to fret 12, and then we'll re-pick fret 12, slide back to 10, 8, 10, 8. Now we have a big old bend coming up here. It goes all the way up to fret 15 on that 1st string. So he's taken this note, it gives us the note of G, but we want it to sound like a high note of A. Okay, so we're actually taking that note, trying to make it sound like the fret 17 and then back to that fret 15. So we have, okay, now if you want to slide those two notes, you can do that, or you could just pick the fret 17 and then pick the fret 15 if you wanted to. We then go to the second string at fret 15, and it's another string bend. We have, so you may have just been able to figure that out by me playing it, but if not, we have a 15 that we're going to bend up to 17, and then we allow it to come back down. Then on the second string, 13, 15, so we have, and then we're going to bend that 15 up again, back down, and then 13, 15, 13. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could do it as slides. So I'm sliding up to the fret 17 and doing it that way. So that's an option as well. So this entire solo, I'll do it slowly, so by all means play along with it if you want to. I'll do it the way he does it, but by all means, like I say, do slides instead of string bends. It's completely up to you. So we have, all the way up to the 15, and then so that's all of that. That's the solo. It's really, really nice. Like I say, it's different to the single version, but I think they're probably at some point both worth learning. So if enough people get in touch, I'll do a video for the other solo as well. But for now, see how you get on with that. So please like, subscribe, share if you got something out of it, and get in touch if you have any requests for any further Beatles videos. Okay, I'm going to go have a drink of water. Cheers then. Bye.